Hi, everybody. This is Justina, and welcome to the class on smart contract as part of our Web3 class. I'm very excited to speak to you about this today. And what is a smart contract? A smart contract, as defined by Wikipedia, is a computer program or a transaction protocol which is intended to automatically execute, control, or document legally relevant events and actions according to the terms of a contract or an agreement. The objective of smart contracts are the reduction of need in trusted intermediators, arbitrations, and enforcement costs, fraud losses, as well as reduction of malicious and accidental exceptions. Now that's a lot, so why don't I help you simplify it? What I see smart contracts as is a piece of code that codified business logic, and it has several features. That feature, so it's not exactly a legal contract. What it is a code with business logic that stores rules, that verifies rules, self-executes the rules, and is very secure. In addition to that, it is immutable. So once you write the code and the specifics of that code and business logic is fulfilled, the contract executes. It can be compared in a lot of cases to a vending machine. And so what happens and what is the reason it's used as a comparison is because it makes a breach of contract expensive. So what does a vending machine do? You go there, you go to the machine, you insert your money, and you pick the snack of choice, and there you go. The vending machine will give you your snack of choice. So it is business logic that is executed, that's secure, and it gives you an outcome that you are looking for if you put in the proper criteria. Where can we see use cases of smart contracts? Well, the most basic use case of a smart contract is actually a financial transaction. And to expand on that, so the blockchain, for example, the Bitcoin blockchain. However, you can use it for collateral and bonding. So you can put in $1,000. The specifications will be that you deposit that $1,000. That interest rate will be a certain percentage amount. You have a certain amount of time to pay for it, and the interest will begin to charge and it will start executing on the blockchain, and you can have all that information verified very quickly. So once again, a smart contract is a self-enforceable digital representation of a traditional contract. The idea was first coined actually by Nick Szabo in 1994 to decrease the level of risk for contracting parties. And it was popularized using the Ethereum network as they started building out decentralized applications. But what the main thing it was used for was during the ICO boom, when people were actually buying specific coins with the Ethereum coin. So you would exchange your Ethereum to get another token. And those smart contracts were the way that it is similar to and anything using a smart contract. So I'm going to use, for example, the sale of a house. Bob wants to sell his house. John wants to buy the house. There's a match between them. And then what happens is the smart contract, once it, instead of having a clearinghouse saying, oh, this person has this amount of dollars and they gave you that amount of dollars and now you have the ownership. Once you send over the money, the title will change hands from one party to another because the criteria of the business rules now have been met. So it's getting rid of the intermediary and actually it's self-executing based on the fact that the business rules have been met. And in the time of the ICO boom, when you sent in your money, you would get the ownership of that specific coin. To continue on that, what other use cases do you have? So once the transaction, for example, for land would be completed, you can be using it, things like I've mentioned before, as in collateral, but there's other things like in financial services for payments and settlement of mortgages. And what is the downside of contracts since the contract performs exactly how it is coded and can never be changed? The immutability of a smart contract may also turn out to be a curse instead of a blessing. Hence, any errors in code of a smart contract may carry risk and consequences, such as wrong amount being distributed to the wrong recipient. So once this is coded, you have to make sure it's correct because you cannot reverse it the way you can the current system. But I mean, if there's that's a whole other topic for public and private blockchains. But right now, the way that it is if you execute it, it is immutable. Once it's done, it is done. So you have to make sure you do it correctly the first time. What other applications can we see smart contracts being used for? Well, decentralized applications. So Airbnb, currently you have an intermediary and you have a rental happening, but really what could happen in the future is people can transact between each other without the need for that intermediary. Same thing with Uber. It could be user to user with the execution and making sure, oh, I can take this ride, this amount of money is in your bank account, or if you don't have it, you cannot. What about decentralized finance? That's something else you guys will be discussing in the course. And in decentralized finance, I lock up my money and every day now the contracts can start executing and giving me interest. And if I decide to take my money out early from an investment that I've made, I will have a penalty because that's how it's been executed. Some people, even for Ethereum 2.0, as it's going from a proof of work network and it's going to a proof of stake network, have signed up their money and put it in. And now they're waiting for that money to be released. And in a smart contract, they cannot take it out until the release of that. So once it's done, it's done. Another use of smart contract is, of course, NFTs, something else that you'll be discovering in this Web3 class. And the reason for that is once I give you the money and you receive it, I will get the value of the NFT. As I've mentioned before, real estate. But another point that I'd like to really mention for you, and it's real life, will be a census. Right now, the way that the data is collected and distributed, we are not getting that much information. We could be getting even more information and we can do it in a secure fashion. It could be anonymous and more people might be willing to answer that. And how can we do that? Well, you can use smart contracts to gather that information, connect us more to policymakers so they can decide where is the best place to put money. Another use case for smart contracts is in the healthcare industry. Let's say someone needs to have surgery. Right now, the hospitals keep that information and they do not share. But what if anonymously hospitals can do information sharing on what kind of organs they had and then swapping out those organs? So another big and important feature to the immutability feature of a smart contract is the security aspect, is the fact that you can also program it to be anonymous. So that is very interesting. And I think smart contracts, as we will continue in the space, will allow for a lot more efficiency. And why is that? Because right now, things are getting done manually. And when you can use the combination of, let's say, AI and a smart contract, you'll be able to gather the information, validate the information from different parties, and then execute based on that information. That's something, for example, that a company called Chainlink does, because right now when you're doing a transaction, you may want to send $40 at the time that you're sending that $40. And the recipient, if you don't specify that, will receive a different amount due to the fluctuation in cryptocurrencies. So what can be done to mitigate this risk? You can use a smart contract. And that smart contract will fetch the information from various sources. And if it does that, what it means is that it can actually provide you with validated information that is decentralized, and then it can execute on that information. So I hope you enjoy and that gave you a good briefing of what are smart contracts. And I look forward to discussing more use cases with you. But it is very critical and important because currently in different systems, people change information. And so the data is not really reliable. So the validity and security of data is a big topic currently. And I think this is a very good way and a very interesting way of solving that. And we are just at the beginning of understanding the use cases of smart contracts, because, for example, as we evolve, more companies have more innovative ideas to bring to the table in the space of Web3. And of course, you will be going through more things in the metaverse. And this is a topic we'll expand on throughout this class, because smart contracts are really behind a lot of things in Web3. So thank you for your participation, and I look forward to continuing the class with you.